What do you think of when you hear the word Samsung? Cutting-edge smartphones, massive TVs, maybe those smart refrigerators that tell you when you're out of milk. It's easy to see Samsung as this futuristic tech behemoth that has always been at the top. But what if I told you that this global empire, a name synonymous with innovation, started out selling dried fish and noodles? That's right. The story of Samsung is not just about gadgets and gizmos. It's a tale of incredible transformation, aggressive ambition, and a relentless drive to conquer the world. From a humble trading company in a small Korean town to a brand that shapes our daily lives, this is the story of how Samsung built its empire. It all began in 1938, long before Silicon Valley was even a concept. A man named Lee Byung-chul started a small trading company in Daegu, Korea. He named it Samsung, which means 3 stars. The 3 represented something big, numerous, and powerful, while the stars symbolized eternity. Lee's vision was grand, but his business was simple. He exported local goods like dried Korean fish, vegetables, and noodles to China. Think about that for a second. The company that now builds the chips inside your phone started by selling groceries. For the first few decades, Samsung dabbled in all sorts of industries. They ventured into sugar refineries, textiles, and even had the largest woolen mill in Korea. Technology was nowhere on the radar. The company was growing, but it was still a far cry from the global powerhouse we know today. The real turning point came in the late 1960s. This was a pivotal moment not just for Samsung, but for all of South Korea. The government was pushing for industrialization, and Samsung saw a golden opportunity. In 1969, Samsung Electronics was born. Their very first product? A black and white television. It was a bold move. At the time, Japanese companies like Sony and Panasonic dominated the electronics market. Samsung was the underdog, the new kid on the block with everything to prove. They started by producing affordable electronics for the domestic market. Their strategy was clear: learn from the best, imitate, and then improve. They built washing machines, refrigerators, and microwaves, slowly but surely building their reputation and their technical know-how. The 1980s were a period of explosive growth. Samsung began mass-producing VCRs, personal computers, and perhaps most importantly, memory chips. This was a game-changer. The semiconductor business was incredibly risky and capital-intensive. Many were skeptical, but Samsung's leadership went all in, investing billions. This aggressive gamble paid off. By the early 90s, Samsung had become the world's largest producer of memory chips, a title it often still holds today. This mastery of components became Samsung's secret weapon. While other companies had to buy their parts from suppliers, Samsung could make them in-house. This gave them incredible control over their supply chain, quality, and costs. They were no longer just an assembler of electronics. They were the ones creating the very heart of the technology. Then came 1993. Lee Kun-hee, the son of the founder, took the helm and delivered what is now a legendary speech to his top executives. He famously said, "Change everything except your wife and kids." This wasn't just a catchy slogan, it was a declaration of war on mediocrity. He was tired of Samsung being seen as a second-tier, budget brand. He wanted quality over quantity. In a dramatic move, he once had over 150,000 defective phones and fax machines piled up and set on fire in front of the factory employees. The message was brutal, but effective. Shoddy work would not be tolerated. This new management initiative sparked a cultural revolution within the company. The focus shifted entirely to creating world-class products that could compete with the very best. The new millennium saw Samsung set its sights on a new frontier: the mobile phone. They had been making phones for a while, but the rise of the smartphone changed everything. Initially, they struggled to keep up with pioneers like Nokia and BlackBerry. But true to form, Samsung adapted and fought back. When Apple launched the iPhone in 2007 and redefined the industry, Samsung didn't just sit back. They launched a massive counteroffensive. They poured resources into research and development, embraced the Android operating system, and in 2010, they launched the Samsung Galaxy S. This was the phone that put Samsung on the map as a true smartphone giant. It was a direct challenger to the iPhone, and it marked the beginning of one of the biggest rivalries in tech history. What makes Samsung's strategy so effective? It's a combination of incredible speed, ruthless ambition, and vertical integration. They are what's known as a fast follower. They might not always be the first to invent a new category, but when a new market emerges, they jump in with overwhelming force, iterate quickly, and often end up dominating it. Look at foldable phones. While others were hesitant, Samsung went all in, releasing multiple generations and refining the technology at a breathtaking pace. Their control over the supply chain is also a massive advantage. They make their own screens, their own processors, their own memory chips. This allows them to innovate faster and control their own destiny in a way few other companies can. It's an empire built on both silicon and sheer will. But the journey hasn't been without its challenges. Samsung has faced intense competition from all sides, from Apple at the high end to a wave of aggressive Chinese brands like Huawei and Xiaomi at the lower end. They've navigated patent wars, product controversies like the Galaxy Note 7 battery issue, and even legal troubles involving its top leadership. Yet, through it all, the company has shown remarkable resilience. They constantly reinvent themselves, pouring nearly $20 billion a year into research and development to stay ahead of the curve. They're not just a phone company anymore. They're leaders in 5G technology, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things, creating a connected ecosystem that spans from your pocket to your living room. From a small grocery exporter to a global technology titan, Samsung's story is a masterclass in ambition and adaptation. It's a reminder that giants can come from the humblest of beginnings, and that with a bold vision and a relentless pursuit of excellence, it's possible to change the world. The 3 stars that Lee Byung-chul envisioned back in 1938 are no longer just a symbol. They represent a galaxy of innovation that continues to expand. What do you think is the most impressive part of Samsung's story? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through tech history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.